Good morning, my friends. Welcome to Exploring the Ka, aka Soul Station Radio. Look at the amazing lenticular clouds that just showed up. Don't they look like little UFOs? Smash that like button, everybody. Good morning. We're going to do like always, we're going to do this starting today. Every morning and evening, we're going to be doing these meditations for free for everyone. We all need to unite. Look at those lenticular clouds. Look at those. Truly amazing if you see them in person. And you guys have noticed, please share the recent videos I've posted with world-renowned Sun Yogi Uma Sankar and world-renowned astrobiologist Professor Chandra Wickraman Singh. I'm doing these shows now and reposting some of these shows now because this is the time. We all need this information. We are all part of cosmic consciousness. These are words that have been used for many, many decades, especially in the Hindu and Buddhist communities. We are part of a massive quantum intelligence. And we are at the cusp of 4D absorbing 3D. And for the only way we can battle our egos and the negativity that's surrounding us is through accessing our personal power. So get comfortable, everybody. I'm standing out here in 30-degree weather, freezing. It's below freezing out here. So we can all unite. So if you can roll one up, get relaxed, do some grounding. We're going to do a morning meditation in a few moments. Maybe wait for a couple other people to join. And we'll do a live meditation. Who's out there with me in the chat room this morning? And thank God for my buddy Larry. Larry, actually, I didn't get it yet. It's on this way, but I'm getting a new phone in the mail that is what I forget the number, the name of the phone, but it's cinematography type phone. So I can be doing way better quality videos when I'm out walking about on my morning walks and my walks throughout the day and night. So this is going to be a real exciting time to be doing online videos. Unfortunately, this is the way we all have to communicate for right now. It is completely silent this morning. It's cold, it's silent. This is the perfect time to access our personal power, our personal space. We have a torus field of energy surrounding us, and it pulls down over us like a skirt, like an umbrella skirt. And sometimes, for us to silence that negative chatter, we can actually pull our consciousness into our belly, into that area, to get out of the head, to get out of all the negative, surprisingly, all the thoughts that are considered negative for us, for our ego. Sometimes we need to drop our consciousness into our belly. Like in Slavic, they would call it the dizvot. I think I'm pronouncing that right. The dizvot. This is like your belly area. And we can actually drop our consciousness into our belly, which is our other, it's like our other brain. Your stomach, your gut, is like another brain of your body. And most people don't realize it. And it's amazing, guys. I did a show Saturday night on Truth Frequency Radio, where my radio show is, about life, disease, all of this having extraterrestrial origins. How Earth and other planets were seeded, are being evolved through comets, meteor showers. And it's my theory, it's my vision, that in fact, the angels that are talked about in the Bible, the aliens that are talked about in the Bible, or in scriptures, the interdimensional beings that are talked about, good morning, Raven, the interdimensional beings that are talked about, all of these beings that are talked about that come into our realm and change our DNA, change who we are, the way they appear in our 3D reality. Some of these beings appear as literal comets, as literal asteroids, as literal meteor showers. This is why they're even naming comets and asteroids after the gods of the old, after the ancient gods, because they are directly a part of these gods. Some of them are even ancient petrified body parts of these gods that are now divine technology going throughout the multiverse and literally changing. They are geneticists. An asteroid is a geneticist, a genetic engineer. When it lands, when it opens up, when it sprays in the atmosphere, the cometary dust that drips down contains the blood of the ancients. It contains DNA, bacterias. That changes the DNA of this world's inhabitants. Cometary dust is literally slowly evolving species from plant life to human life. And this is under divine cosmic control. A cosmic intelligence, a cosmic consciousness is what is sending comets and asteroids and meteor showers throughout our world and other worlds. Good morning, Melinda. This is mind-blowing revelations. And the most amazing thing about this cosmic intelligence is that I'm not the first to say this. I've come through it in my own ways. But world-renowned astrophysicists, world-renowned astrobiologists were fighting about this in the 1980s. Right? World-renowned doctors risked their reputations about this. The man I had on Saturday night, Professor Chandra, him and Sir Fred Hoyle in the 1980s experienced a battle with the scientific community about their work. You know, they were saying that evolution comes from space. Evolution comes from comets and meteor showers. And over the last several decades, they have done tests to prove this. And it's being denied because there's a space force involved in this cosmic war. We are trying to get the waters of life and death that are inside of comets. They contain the knowledge of the ancients. And most people nowadays in our communities, spiritual community, the UFO community, all these communities, right? They People are just seeing through their egos. They want to be the only ones that have information. When really, we are all getting these downloads. Just some people are seeing things a little bit more clear. Some people have already been humbled. Some people's egos have already been shattered. And you know, mine has been shattered in many different ways. One of the ways is when I first stepped into the kickboxing ring. Man, there's nothing more humbling than having your breath and your literal oxygen sucked out of you from being tired from fighting someone else. The fear that comes across you when you have to face somebody who's trying to knock your head off. And learning how to breathe through the fear of those situations. And learning how to control your fear and feed off of that fear. Thank you, Raven. Yes, yes. There's blood inside of comets. There's blood inside of asteroids. They're in there. There's blood. The old story of you can't get blood from stone. There is blood inside stone. Long ago hardened. And it's all about accessing our personal power. And this morning we're gonna do that together. Right here, out in the cold, we're gonna do a meditation. This is the morning blaze, everybody. So if you got it, light it up, get relaxed. This is a great time to be alive, not the time to be pointing the finger at each other. This is the time of information. The reason why so much information is coming out right now, and so many people are feeling like this, and there's so much information. Information data is at an all-time high. We live in a realm of data. Everything is data. Literally everything is data. And we are data. We are a digital code. And a part of our higher dimensional being has been infected with a data virus. And this data virus is what constructed this third dimension. I will be doing a presentation about the Garden of Eden as well, and that is going to be a mind-blowing video, especially now that I got some better equipment, a better camera for my computer, and a better phone coming. Apparently, I just got to get a SIM card for the phone, and then I could really get it going. Sherry, welcome, peace of mind. Welcome, Melinda, one of my favorite people out there. Melinda has been a follower of my work and a friend since 2015 or something like that. She's been with you know, the Mystical Spiral since I was on the Para X radio network, which was like in 2015. So Melinda is a longtime friend and follower of my work, and I really appreciate all of you that have been around for all this time, because you guys know the truth. You know, I've been talking about alien intelligence, insectoid intelligence, cosmic consciousness, all of this for many, many years, like many, many others that have influenced me. And it's time for us to unite. It's time for all of us to access our personal power. Dr. Harwich, many others were doing experiments in the 1950s, 1970s. And from their experiments, their psychic experiments, their telepathic experiments, they come to the conclusion that they were receiving information from their higher self that is connected to a cosmic consciousness. In my opinion, science proves the existence of God. Science proves how complex life is, and that there has to be some sort of divine intelligence behind it all. There is no such thing as alien intelligence, because we are the aliens. We have been seeded from extraterrestrial life. It is not alien intelligence. It is divine cosmic intelligence. The alien intelligence is the artificial intelligence. That is the alien intelligence. The alien intelligence out there is the data virus that has infected us. That is part of the intelligence. The phone that we are using right now, unfortunately, this technology is the alien intelligence. And we have been seeded by the divine cosmic intelligence. Then we have been corrupted by the data virus, the nakash of the Bible, that somehow was able to infiltrate our hermetically sealed Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden is a 4D, higher dimensional, virtual reality network that the atom, if you want to call the atom, the original man that we're all a part of, the original human that we're all a part of, was corrupted in this virtual reality. Think about it. Like, right now, we can make a virtual reality construct of this world, and we can enter in it and access whatever's part of that world. It's like a video game, right? So if there's a higher dimensional version of that, where we created, that we are all part of this oneness that was created, and in a higher dimensional way, we created this lab, this virtual reality lab for us to explore our consciousness. Well, this virtual reality lab was infiltrated by a data virus. And this is what made us fall from a 4D to a 3D. It shattered our consciousness, parts of our consciousness, and we have fallen into our lower version of ourselves, a version where we rot and we are decaying and we are filled with lies and ego. We have been deceived and tricked with a data virus. This is why they say Adam and Eve, right? They took from the tree of knowledge some sort of higher dimensional computer, a tree of knowledge. And once they bit from this tree, or once they took it into themselves, that knowledge, once they obtained that knowledge from that tree, they became infected with a data virus from that knowledge. And this is what we have here now. We are all, and one, just like any virus within our computer or within our bodies, the virus self-replicates and gets stronger and spreads. Well, guess what? This is what we did. Humanity is just self-replicating and spreading and swelling. Right? We are constantly self-replicating. All of us are replicating, making more, and spreading. This is exactly what we are. I'm not saying that our whole life is a virus, but our higher dimensional consciousness has been infected with a data virus. So part of our higher existence has fallen to a lower reality. And for us to get back fully to our higher dimensional coordinate, we have to see through and conquer this data virus that has put a veil around this dimension, literally coated with a replicated cosmic slime around this third dimension. So light it up. It's the morning blaze. Wow. You know, scientists, yes, Raven. You know, Good morning, Tion Juarez. Good morning, Scott. Yeah, then you guys definitely could support me right here in the super chat. You guys can support me. Get yourself some tensor tools, some crystals. Actually, I'm going to be putting deals up today on my website with moonstone and copper tools, package deals for the holidays. So definitely look forward to that. And of course, you guys can support me right here in the super chat. Yeah, you tried to comment. Yeah, hold on, Raven. We'll go in order of what you guys are saying. Raven says scientists always get scared to mix spirituality, thinking it will discredit them. Yeah, what's amazing is that world famous astrobiologist and scientist that I had on my show, Professor Sandra, Saturday night. What was the last thing he said before he went? Before he closed? Because it was really late where he is, and he agreed to do a series of shows with me, so we booked him again. And at the end of the show, I mean, he only did the first segment and a little bit into the second segment. So he did about 40 minutes of my 2-hour show with me Saturday night. And the last thing he said, we were closing the show with him, and he said, let me say one more thing before I go. And before he went, he said, and this is a scientist, this is an astrobiologist who is 83 years old and has spent almost 65 years of his life trying to get, not trying to, but being pushed away, the literal stuff that he proved, people are trying to sweep under the carpet. And so it wouldn't benefit him by saying anything about spirituality, right? Because people look away from it. But the last thing he said before he went was, this is all well and good, but we all need to start looking at the spiritual aspect of things. And people should be researching the more spiritual side of all of this. Saying that there's a spiritual side to comets. There's a spiritual side to meteors. Not everything, nothing, in fact, is white or black. There are all different shades to everything. Right? Good morning to Norway. Bjorn, good morning from the mountains of, well, you're in the mountains of Norway, and I am in the mountains of the Hudson Valley of New York. Literally. I am in the mountains. They call this Indian's Chair over here, where I am. Right near Bear Mountain. I'm right near Bear Mountain, New York. I'm in the mountains, literally. It's a shame so many people out there that are supposed to be open-minded are so closed-minded and bitter, because those are the people that are the most deceived of all. Those are the people that are already talking like computer data infected people. Wow, we got people at all the powerful energy spots on the planet right here in the Superstition Mountains of Arizona. Yeah, don't go looking for gold in those mountains. You won't come home. Yeah, the Indian Stellar Reserve. I'd spent some time out in Arizona. I spent 3 months out there, and right when the World Trade Center was going down, I spent September, October, November. I came home around December of 2001, and then I went right back out. I went right to California after that. Arizona has some amazing spots, especially the Red Rocks. No doubt in my mind that the mountains are made of giants. My buddy Roger from Mud Fossil University, even though I don't think he's got everything 100% correct, he's for sure on the right track. Thank you, Tion. You know, anybody can have a cool story. It's just about following your heart and beating through the fear. There were certain times in my life where my soul was screaming for me to travel. Not just travel, like I mean take a trip. I mean take a pilgrimage within yourself. And I followed where the world was guiding me for many years. And eventually I decided to settle down, have a family, and have like a home base back in New York. But for like 5 years, I literally walked the earth with my guitar. It took me many places. And when my daughter is old enough, me, my wife, and my daughter will be doing that again, if at all possible. So you guys almost about ready for a morning meditation? Thank you, peace of mind. My hands are starting to freeze holding this phone. Who's ready? Also, shout out and safe pronti, safe travels to my buddy Masaki. He's taking a trip to Brazil, so I hope he has safe travels. He's leaving today. Take one pull and pass it to the left, pass it to the right. Yeah. Sun yoga today. Yeah, so I did 2 videos with Umal Sankar, the sun yogi. And I know a lot of people roll their eyes when I say that he was feeding off the sun. But I do believe in this man's story. And he's not the only one that has done this. And the fact, good morning, Alley Cat. The fact that he even admitted that during the time he wasn't eating and he was feeding off the sun, he said he wasn't advancing or evolving spiritually. That he was sort of like stuck in the mud spiritually. That he was abusing this ancient yogi power to be able to feed off the cosmic consciousness, off the sun. I mean, this guy, and it was using the word cosmic consciousness and cosmic intelligence way before any people in the modern day. I mean, decades ago, right? He said, listen to even at the end of the show when he's explaining the 29 chakras, the chakras in our body, the 7 chakras within our body, then all the way to the black hole. We have energy centers that's connected to our black hole origins, where we literally were spit out from. And he said, once you get certain levels of your consciousness, once you get up that high in your vibrational frequency, that you don't need nourishment of physical water. You are actually nourishing off the cosmic water. Now that is mind-blowing. Truly mind-blowing. And when this was said, when I heard this man say this, my body responded. My body was triggered by that. And not a bad trigger, like an ancient I'm home sort of information feeling. And the best thing about me posting this YouTube version of our interview, because this interview that we did with him, I did one in January of this year and one in February. I posted it now for certain reasons. One, because currently Uma Sankar, the Sun Yogi, is right now as we speak on retreat, a pilgrimage in the Himalayas by himself. He's currently on retreat and in the pilgrimage where he actually goes and communicates with the immortal being Babaji, as, you know, according to him. And, you know, I'm not going to doubt the man. I'm not going to say he's wrong. I have not seen that. But from what he describes, that he encounters immortal beings in the caves, in the mountains of the Himalayas, while he's feeding off the sun. He'll take just some water with him, and he'll stay out there for a few weeks. And so right now he's in the Himalayas. Right now we are at the cusp of a transformation of December of 2021. The winter solstice is always brings alignments, and when there's a powerful alignment like the one we have right now, there is cosmic transformation that we are stepping into. And it's very important what's inside the collective consciousness of humanity during this time. So I'm putting this information out now so it's fresh in people's minds for this time. Also, on YouTube, I don't know if it's for everybody, but I have the YouTube, what is it called? YouTube Red, where you pay for the YouTube Red each month. So I do that, and for my the video I posted, even though it's just like one picture of him the whole time, so I'm not advanced yet with computers. So it took me months to learn how to just convert the MP3 to MP4 the right way. So I converted my radio interview into a video that has his picture on there. But the YouTube has posted the translation of him talking, because he has a heavy Indian accent. And it's pretty spot on. They only got like one or two words wrong in the whole 2-hour interview that I have on there. They got his accent right and everything. So if you guys want to check that out, you can hear the whole interview with him, with the translation written in the captions below and everything. It's perfect. It really worked out good. And I also posted one of the radio shows I did with Gary Wayne. And these radio shows are all live on Truth Frequency Radio on Saturday nights, but the archives are by subscription into Truth Frequency Radio. And that subscription money doesn't go to me. It goes to Truth Frequency Radio to support the station. That's how the station gets paid for, right? So we used to get a commission, but the radio station was doing pretty bad and we weren't making money, so we all decided not to take the commission anymore. So I do that show for free every Saturday night for 2 hours. I've been doing it for years, and your subscriptions to the archives is what helps us do that show and keep that station running. So we're gonna do a very interesting meditation. I hope everybody's ready. I hope everybody's sort of grounded and they get their negative chatter silenced while we do this. Also, people, this is a very good technique to take. You can also, of course, alter this technique in many ways, make it more suitable for you as well. So I would recommend first, you find a location where it's suitable for you, unspoiled location, maybe like someplace that's far away from people to see, where they might think you're crazy or put any doubts in your mind, or anyone's going to see you and judge you and make you change your mental state in any way, or throw any mental daggers out of their eyes at you that might change the energy signature of your moment. So go someplace where you can really be alone and unspoil yourself, get unspoiled. And of course you close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And then we're going to silence and empty ourselves, right? So silence and empty your mind. I even have a whole thing that I have written down here for us. So hold on for a second. Let me even... Now, first of all, you have to let your awareness, right? Got to let your awareness flow out of you. And your awareness has to be like light throughout your whole body, right? And when your mental state is like not cloudy anymore, and when you've sort of become equally, just as clear, like when your self-awareness is just very clear, crystal clear, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to be to still your mind. And it sounds very easy, but it's one of the hardest things to do for people. One of the hardest things for people to do nowadays is to silence their mind, right? So this is why sometimes we have to send it to our bellies, right? We shift our consciousness below, right into the other side of the low, into our lower abdomen, into our belly area. This is a part of emptying our minds, right? So the stilling of the mind is something that all meditation students have to do to accomplish anything. It's one of the hardest. But once you learn how to do this, it becomes very easily. You'll be able to do this without thinking. So your goal right here is to eradicate mental chatter, right? And you can do this by releasing all the negativity that's inside of your sphere, your biosphere, right? This is your mental and physical sphere of who you are. And you'd be pretty freaking amazed, actually, at how much of your regular everyday thinking falls under the umbrella of negative vibes, negativity. Mainly, most of our thoughts throughout the whole day is linked to some sort of negative situation or negative thoughts. So you want to get rid of this. So everybody would just first take a deep breath, relax yourself, let your hands sort of hang at your side freely. Take a deep breath. Imagine that all of your negativity, all the negativity inside of you is flowing, and it's flowing right out through your fingertips, out through your fingers, right? And every time you take a breath, you try to feel that negative energy just flowing out of the tips of your fingers, flowing out through your hands, even your palms. And now to take it even a step further, you want to still, get rid of the negative energy. You want to still your mind. You want to get rid of that negative chatter even further. You could take a more even aggressive approach to this, right? And you can even force some of your negative thoughts that won't go away, right? If you need to literally ask, you can literally you could have them pulled out of you, they... Yeah, it is a gorgeous blue sky. Yes, thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Susan. Thank you for joining. I don't know if you got it so far, but we just started doing our meditation. So basically, I've just been prepping everybody. Just get your mind to a negative chatter out. Take a deep breath. Let your hands go to your side. You guys, you can even do, if you have to get there, do some sort of mental imagery. You can even See how we have the skies here? Imagine the wind that's blowing by. It starts to move these clouds, and as it moves the clouds, it's blowing away the negativity, right? And after all the sky is clear and none of these thoughts arise, you can let go of this image of the sky. You don't have to do this image anymore. Your sky is clear, and then that puts you in the state. But when you finally feel that, like, your mind is free of all the negativity, you're calm, you're completely empty of these thoughts, and your mind is still, this is when you let your awareness seep and flow right through your body. And you can imagine this as a torus field above you, right? That pulls down like a skirt of energy all the way around your body and even into the earth. Almost like a torus that turns into a bell shape, right? And it's like a bell umbrella of awareness that's opening all around you and even underneath you. It reaches all the way down into the earth and connects with the earth energies and the ley lines and the earth harmonic energy grid that's within. Then to silence your mind even more, to drop your energy and your sort of consciousness. Imagine your head is even getting pulled down or sinking down into your body, into a cocoon of energy, a cocoon of light, a cocoon of your divine energy. And then when it stops, it rests right beneath your ribs, above your groin, in your belly area. You can even imagine your head being able to push against, or your consciousness, pushing against your face, right against your belly area. Your nose is up against your stomach, things like that. And you can feel your eyes and your sight looking from your diaphragm. And then when you actually got your consciousness lower, you can actually start to walk this way. And when you walk this way, you're letting this torus field, this torus bell-shaped skirt roll along the surface like it's carrying you, like a big ball rolling, like you're just rolling like a beach ball almost, rolling, right? And this might take you a while. This might take you until you actually learn how to do this and get this. And you'll find that when you go to different locations, it'll activate different energies, different power spots within you. Where's this friggin' light? My phone is dying. And it's very powerful. This is one of the ways of accessing your personal power. This has been passed down by many shamans over time. This is not my technique, but it's a similar technique that I use. This is mostly a European, Russian shamanism. The Baltic area, Europe area. A lot of the shamans within the forests of these areas use this technique. You guys got it's a lot of wind noise here. I hope everybody heard that. Wow, that's an interesting dream. I had a very interesting travel last night in my dream. In fact, it was pretty intense. I had to wake myself up out of it. It was pretty intense. Thank you, everybody. I gotta see if I can go get my battery pack from the car because I only got like 4% left. And definitely, guys, you know, I risked my whole livelihood, and it's stupid me because I took a massive pay cut, but I had to do it because my spirit was calling for it, to go into the tensor tools and the crystals. And right now, the only way we can even feel normal, just somewhat normal, is by having some of these tools. Who's still with me? Wow, I got my battery pack. I came back. I just had an amazing experience. Amazing experience. Looking up in the sky opens up, and I just see the multiplicity of everything for a moment and feel the multiplicity and the oneness. Like time just stops for a moment. It's amazing. It was pretty amazing because like I heard geese coming, but I couldn't see any geese in the sky. I looked around the whole sky, no geese. And then all of a sudden, a huge V formation of them were above my head, like directly above. And then for a moment, I could see the moon's out, the sun's out, everything, just the oneness of everything for a split second, the multiplicity of everything, of worlds. And how we're just anchored to it all. Yeah, I had to go back to my phone. I had to go back to get my battery pack. I already did this video has already been going for a while. I just did about a half hour or so video, and then my phone died, so I went to my car to get my battery pack, and I plugged it in. So now, well, I'm losing power again, obviously, though. It says I'm losing power. I went from 5% to 4% just now, so I might have to lose you again, but I wanted to go back live for a moment because this is just a magical place for everybody. We just did a live meditation where I showed people a very ancient technique, in fact, of dropping your consciousness into your belly area and then being able to see from that vantage point and walk through the forest or wherever to find the energy spots. When you were able to silence the negative chatter in your mind, and you can even drop your consciousness, so you're seeing from the brain, like in your belly area, and then you can actually walk that way, almost like you're rolling in a ball, a sphere, and you're rolling to the power spots. Where your mental awareness of your brain has totally left your body, and you're just communicating with the harmonic energy grid. You're rolling along those ley lines. I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. This is a very powerful moment in time. We are at the cusp. We are at a war between 4D and 3D. Our higher dimensional self is calling us. That's why higher dimensional information has been seeping down into this lower dimensional 3D reality. All of the data that we are getting is because our higher dimensional knowledge is dripping down. It is seeping through. We are at the cusp of a transformation. So the higher dimensional coordinate that we are transforming into, that information is seeping down. And this is what we all are tapping into. It is seeping down into our dimension. But it's hard to get through the petrified state of our ego. the cement block of our ego that has made a hardened cocoon around us. We literally have replicated cosmic slime coated around our dimension, a veil around our dimension, keeping us 4D. Now that veil is being lifted. Some are being congealed and coagulated and pulled towards the data virus layer. And some of us are going back to our higher dimensional coordinate, our 4D. Most people can't see anymore. Most people can only see this 3D ego through the ego's eyes. The death virus is what infected Adam. The tree of knowledge, I explained it before, is like a higher dimensional lab of exploration. A hermetically sealed lab that was infiltrated somehow by the Nakash, by a data virus. When he accessed that data, it made him collapse to a lower dimensional reality. Part of our higher dimensional existence collapsed into a lower dimensional reality. And just like any other virus, we replicate and replicate and replicate, just like we have. I mean, we are in a construct. Whoa. Dude, that deer just appeared in the open field like it came from nowhere. Wow, these deer, I'm telling you, there's like a cosmic gateway on this field. And this rock wall that's all around here, when I do my dowsing, right when you get to the rock wall, the dowsing rods crisscross. Like they get like a magnet stuck to each other all along that rock wall. I wonder if that deer was sleeping where that island is, because it all of a sudden was just standing in the middle of the field. It came from like nowhere. It's happened before to me. This island here is like a friggin' cosmic gateway. I'm telling you. Herbert, Silver Wings. I don't think you guys caught the first half of this video. There was like a 5-minute lapse where I had to go get my battery pack, but the first half we did a powerful meditation. Powerful technique. You guys, of course, could support me right here in the chat. You guys could support me at themysticalspiralstore.com, themysticalspiral.com, and Truth Frequency Radio. Saturday night, we did an amazing show with Professor Chandra Wickramansingh, who's a famous astrobiologist, and his work pretty much proves what I've been talking about with comets. And everything's a struggle, guys. Life is a struggle, you know. Everything's a struggle. I risked everything, my whole livelihood, my income, so I can go into the tensor tools and crystals and do readings for people and things like that. I took a massive pay cut. There's some weeks I don't make any money at all. There's some weeks I don't get no sales, no readings, no nothing. You know, sometimes for a month, there's nothing. There's a lot of things that go. I only get a few here and there, right? So I risked it all just to do this, you know, and it's not because I did it because I wanted to make money this way. It's because this is the only way that we're able to feel friggin' even somewhat normal anymore, is by having some sort of copper tensor tool, some sort of protection from the harmful microwaves of energy and frequencies that are being beamed of us. Not to mention the negative programming and thoughts that are being constructed and programmed and embedded within us, right? Just having a tensor tool, I mean, it helps you just feel kind of what we should already normally feel like. Tensor tools are getting us sort of to that level. That's how messed up we are, that we're so corrupted that you have to have a tensor tool just to feel somewhat like you should be, like a normal person. Like normal what I mean by normal is by not fatigued, mental clarity, you know, things like that, physical and mental clarity. You know, we can't even get that unless we have some sort of tensor tool protection or some sort of protection nowadays, because of the harmful radiation that's around us and all the bad frequencies that are just bombarding us. That's why I chose to go into the tensor tools and crystals. You know, crystals are the true storage facility of information and memory. Paper, books, they only last a short period of time. You cannot store real information within books, only for a short period. They're for reading for like a specific generation or a couple of decades or something. Books are amazing, but they're not for retaining ancient knowledge to be passed on. Ancient knowledge has forever been written within crystals. This is the way we store information within our computers, within our phones. Even within your watch is a crystal oscillator. They make them like the size of a little tuning fork. They're crystal oscillators, and you know, we could, if we had some crystals inside of a piezoelectric material, you know, you could beam this. You could beam these frequencies across the planet on a harmonic energy grid. This is what has been done ever since the 1970s on our planet. It's been a war over this. Just having tensor tools is just keeping us somewhat normal. I just posted a lot of sales. I'm also going to be putting package deals for tensor tools and crystals. I got in some new rainbow moonstone as well, some new kyanite, brand new kyanite that are huge kyanites, like big head size almost pieces of kyanite that are some of the most powerful. It's one of the most powerful crystals you can. Labradorite, quartz, kyanite, rainbow moonstone. These are some of the most powerful out there for a cosmic connection, for a higher self connection. And this is what we need right now. That's why I chose to go into the work with tensor tools and crystals. I'm at themysticalspiralstore.com. You could see it down in the description of my video. And also later today, I'm going to be posting some package deals up there with crystals and tensors together. But in fact, any purchase anybody makes on my website, I always include free items. Every purchase. Doesn't matter if you spend $40 or $400. If you spend $400, you just get more free stuff. So depending on the purchase is depending how many free things I give. So everybody who makes a purchase gets something for free. And what I mean by something, it's one of three things. Sometimes you get all three. I have charms, crystals, and stones. Charms I just include extra so somebody's gonna get, well, no matter what purchase you make, you get a crystal or a stone. Sometimes it's a grounding stone, sometimes a crystal, sometimes both. And I throw in charms sometimes. They're little like, I have some Eye of Ra's, some hand of Fatima, hand of Isis, charms, some Anubis charms, Tree of Life charms. I have some Tree of Life charms. Some they're like little. They're not real silver, but they're like silvery charms that you could put on like a keychain or whatever. I send them to my patrons too. But I always send a crystal or a stone with every purchase. Yeah, watches. You know, like a Timex watch. Those watches, they have little crystal oscillators in them. They're the size of like tuning forks. They look like little tuning forks, and they're crystal oscillators. Yeah, you could look that up. You could look that up for sure. The watches have little crystal. I don't know if all watches have them, but certain watches have crystal oscillators inside of them, and they're like this, the shape of like two little tuning forks, like these little tuning forks. They look really like little miniature tuning forks. No doubt, thank you. And of course, the readings. There's no other readings like mine on the planet because everybody else is different. All right, I'm not saying I'm more special than anyone else, but everybody else reads different. And most people that I find, and in fact, if people can actually get through their egos, then they realize how real it is. But I actually am one of those people that do readings for a living come to me for readings. You know, because it's something that happened to me naturally. Like all of a sudden, I had a near-death experience. I went through a physical and mental catastrophe. Right, I had a head trauma, and I had physical trauma on my body that I had to be operated on to save my life. And after that experience, and you know, not for nothing, but at my birth was a literal near-death experience. I do believe there was a DMT release at my moment of birth. It took my mother 18 hours to deliver me. I was born in the call with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck. So they had to get all the placenta and caul that was still wrapped around my face out of the way, and then they had to cut the umbilical cord off from my neck. I was being strangled with my own cord. Literally, the forces of light were fighting with the forces of dark at my moment of birth. They were trying to strangle me with my own cord, certain forces. They did not want me born. And at that moment, I do believe there was a DMT release of light that carried me through. And in fact, I was being strangled so hard in the womb that I had a bright red blood clot birthmark thing. They call it a blood clot birthmark, a bright red one that was inside the corner of my eye. I have baby pictures that still have it. My parents were removed when I was like 1.5, because it's like gonna get in the way of my vision a little bit. Like it was a big ball there in the corner of my eye. And I think it was because I was being strangled so hard that it popped blood clots out of my eyes. And so they had that removed when I was young. But I do think there was a DMT release at my moment of birth. When we're supposed to be breathing in the amnesia of this realm, I was getting a DMT release. And I think that's why, as a child, I was already having otherworldly experiences and seeing auras and seeing all this, you know. And at a certain age, you start to get programmed from people around you and from society not to see these things. Right, because it's bad to talk about these things. People make fun of it. A lot of, you know, and for me, at 9, 10 years old, I went through another near-death experience, an operation that they had to save my life. And at this point, when I came back out of that, I saw things differently, and it took me 30 years to almost be able to learn how to translate what I was seeing appropriately in my higher self. When I connect, and when I have all the negative chatter out of my mind, and I have no doubts, and I'm feeling I'm in the right state of mind, I can see auras. I can see into people's biofields, literally. and I could sense, I have a heightened awareness, a heightened sensitivity around me. Like literally, if I hear even the crunch of the snow beneath my feet, it gives me chills throughout my whole body, like goosebumps. And I'm not because I'm cold. Like if I touch, even I'm hypersensitive in so many ways, physically and mentally. Even if I touch velvet, it makes me like cringe. Ugh, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Certain fabrics, certain things, certain sounds, certain things just make my it does something to me. It has a hypersensitivity, and it's like that mentally with me as well. Something changed in my brain, for good or for bad, a little bit of both, I think. It's like a blessing and a curse. Something changed in my brain when I had this near-death experience, the head trauma and everything. Something changed, and it took me a couple decades. The first 20 years I did readings. I did them for free. I didn't start like accepting some payments and donations until I started doing them on like a much larger basis, until I can actually do them what I felt correctly, like where I can actually translate what I've been seeing and what I connect to the right way. Because it took me a long time to figure out what certain numbers, like I see certain numbers in certain ways. They're within symbols, within, if I'm trying to say, feel something about someone's timeline, about what age there was a specific change in them, it'll appear to me